So Accra Hearts of Oak picking up the 3 points on the day. So two quick thoughts on this game. Hearts Kotoko, the attendance was abysmal.
You know the thing is, the problem with this game is everything that's happened around the game. Like, you don't even want to talk about the game.
Yeah.
I don't know which one is worse. The President's Cup, like there's 3 issues. The whole President's Cup thing, the attendance, and Slatko Matic.
Yeah.
You know what? You give me 2, I'll talk about 2. I'll leave the other one for you. So you which
address the Matic issue for me, and then address it doubling as a President's Cup game.
Okay, so on Slatko Matic, you said you are hearing reports he will resign. I'm surprised he's not done it already, because it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that a coach can be trying to do his job and fans come and decide to, what's the word, just him, rough him up. I don't know what word
and they threatened him before.
Already, he was threatened already.
Mind you, Accra Hearts of Oak have not released a statement condemning the incident. They still have not released.
They released a statement condemning what was said on radio.
Yep.
But you see, you heard it. So if I'm sitting here and someone just decides and says, I know where you work, I'm coming to beat you, what's the first thing I'll do? I'll tell my bosses that, look, this is the situation.
Yep.
Because in my case, my boss might not have seen. I'll tell them that this is the situation. I might not feel safe coming to work, or something, you know. In the case of House of Oak knew. They released a statement talking about the threats. So why was there no extra security put in place? Why didn't they not even say, okay, we are cancelling training today? They could have done so many things to make sure that this didn't happen. And that's a very disappointing situation. So if he decides to work, he's entitled to, because he's not in a safe position to work. How can you work somewhere that you are doing your job and people come and beat you up and you want him to come to work the next day? It's absolute rubbish. It's honestly rubbish and it's disgraceful. So if he quits, I'm fine with that. Now, onto the President's Cup thing. There's 2 things about the President's Cup that are a problem. Why is it always Hearts Kotoko? First thing. And secondly, how can you say that a league game is also the President's Cup? It doesn't work like that. If it's a competition we want to take seriously, you can't do something like this. Because either it's a joke competition that we just do for like just exhibition's sake, or it's a serious competition. It can't be one or the other. So if you say you want it to be an exhibition of Ghanaian football or something, let's say that, there's so many options. We move Independence Day around every year to different parts of the country. If it's supposed to be tied to the Independence Day, shouldn't we be playing it at football grounds in the area where we are doing the Independence Day celebration? Or shouldn't it be teams from that area doing the showcase? So if we are doing the Independence Day in Ho, shouldn't it be maybe the 2 best teams in the Volta region? Or a team from Volta and a team for OT to localize it? I'm just thinking outside the box. Exactly. I don't have all the answers. I can't say that. It doesn't work like that. But let's not say that because Hearts and Kotoko are playing around this time, we'll do it. Or even if we know we are going to do it and we know we want it to be Hearts and Kotoko, let's say that this weekend there's no Ghana Premier League. Instead of playing this weekend, they play midweek before or midweek after. So we can dedicate the weekend to President's Cup and we know that that's what's happening on the weekend and we play properly. We can't have it both ways. We need to have a way that we are actually putting it as the showpiece it is. And we are making it interesting. Because Hearts and Kotoko every year is not interesting. Because first and foremost, they are not the 2 best teams in the country. Let's start with that. This season at least. They are our last 2 champions, fair enough. But there was a period where Hearts didn't win the league for 10 years, just recently. So let's be more creative with it. Let's look at, okay, who won the FA Cup? Who did this? Who did that? I know who won the FA Cup. I believe it was Hearts last season, and Kotoko won the league. So yeah, it would have been the same teams, but you can do something different, or we can make the President's Cup the Super Cup. There's just so much creativity that can be done than this lazy approach. Because for me, it's very lazy. You were lucky that a Hearts Kotoko game was scheduled around this time of the year. So if they had scheduled a Hearts Kotoko game in April, would you have moved it to here, or isn't that what they did? If I'm not mistaken, look. It's just it's a bit too lazy for me. I get that Hearts and Kotoko is the biggest draw. You want to get fans in, but then the fans also didn't come. So what did we achieve?
The fans not attending was a big shocker for me. Now
Why didn't they come?
It was so bad that the game had to be pushed back 1 hour, and so the teams had to warm up twice, and then the gates were open for free, and still the fans did not come.
But if you've not planned your day to come to the stadium, if they tell you that the gate is free, unless you are in the area, you are unlikely to leave your house to come to the stadium.
Amazing. Yeah. Just quick thoughts on that.
Well, I have to commend Kumasi Asante Kotoko. First things first, because yesterday they made it to Christian Achu's 1 week observation. The whole contingent from Kumasi Asante Kotoko was present at the Ajogano AstroTurf to commiserate with the late Christian Achu's family. So I must commend Nanaya Asante Amponsan for that act.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the game, what was Danlad Ibrahim thinking, moving all the way from his goal line? We saw that in the under-20 highlights.
Yeah, the Gambia
that was very amateurish from him. And this isn't the first time he's done it. This is like the third time he's done it. And on all three occasions, Asante Kotoko, they've conceded. He did it against Real Tamale United.
And it doesn't help that Danlad is not the tallest keeper as well. So he's at the disadvantage even going for
He did it against Real Tamale United in Tamale. And they conceded and they lost that particular game.
Yep.
And he's done it again. I honestly don't understand why he needs to come all the way from his line to try to punch that ball. It's not close to your goal. Why
he
do
just
you have to
rushed out
move?
and ran into traffic.
And he was caught in no man's land, and he ended up costing his team the win. Now, moving on to the circumstances that led to the Slavko Matic issue, I'll put it to rest a little bit. Now, if I'm Aduana Stars or I'm Bechem United, the league title contenders, I'll just be licking my lips and rubbing my hands. Because Galka settled on a deal, on an agreement between Hearts and Kotoko for them to play this President's Cup. Now, the circumstances, you have a competitive league game that also has an exhibition element attached to it, / friendly game attached to it. The points Hearts of Oak have picked up today, let's say Hearts of Oak gain momentum and go on a winning run, and they end up winning the league. If I'm Aduana Stars, I'm taking this straight to CAF. If CAF doesn't give me the ruling I expect, I'm taking it to FIFA and I'm taking it to CAS. I'm going all the way because before the start of the season, there was no arrangement that a President's Cup can form or act as a quasi-competitive league game. That's one. You breach one rule. Number two, all league games are decided in 90 minutes. Let's say this game traveled beyond 90 minutes.
They were going to play a penalty shootout.
And after the penalty shootout...
said the penalty shootout was for the cup, but they would have given each team 1 point. This is what they are telling us.
You get it. A whole lot of bad mix. So if Aduana Stars end up missing out on the league title, Bechem United ends up missing out on the league title, they have good cause to go down the legal route.
Contest this particular result.
Because at the end of the day...
People are taking teams to court over the color of socks.
Yes.
This is even way bigger than
because
that.
At the end of the day, this was not part of the arrangement before the start of the season. And yes, you can question the competitiveness of the context because of how you framed it and the format you played this game with. That it's a President's Cup. And once there's exhibition attached to it, definitely you've put yourself in a very tight corner if a team wants to go down the legal route.
Just quickly address the attendance issues for me because this was supposed to be our biggest game.
Yeah, it's all about scheduling. You see, as big as the NBA is, the NBA knows that there is no way it can contest the NFL when it comes to attendance, when it comes to viewership. There is no way they can compete. So the NBA consistently puts its games before the NFL has its games on TV.
Or Sunday nights, the games are not as big because everyone knows that Sunday is for the NFL in America.
In America, why is it that you have Liverpool against Man United at 4:30, and you have the President's Cup being played at being scheduled for 3 o'clock?
Eventually pushed to 4. And I knew that at 3, the game wasn't starting at 3. There was no way the game would start at 3 because the teams will warm up. The president will have to come out and greet the teams before. And you know, once the president is in the mix, it comes with a lot of protocol and it comes with a lot of moving variables. So there was no way we were going to start at 3. We were going to start likely around 3:45, 4. And funny enough, we ended up starting at 4.
That's even problematic because league games shouldn't be on that schedule that because I believe other league games are being played at the same time. There's a reason we've chosen the same time to play league games.
So we do too many ad hoc things.
And number two, why wasn't this game played in the evening? After maybe potentially the Liverpool game, where you could draw a lot of people to the stadium, especially with free gates in mind. Last year, the Hearts Kotoko game that we witnessed for the President's Cup, very well attended. When was it played? In the evening. This is not rocket science. You don't need rocket science to get people to move to the stadium. All you need to do is fix the scheduling, fix the timing of the game.
But I also feel like the Ghana Premier League has been really
the timing of the game. I think what's the word I'm looking for? The media preparation, the kind of advertising, the promotion is the word I'm looking for.
It's been very poor.
The promotion.
I was just telling somebody
non-existent.
I remember when this Bet Power deal was signed. We were told that an amount of $1.3 million for $1 million was being put aside.
They said $1 million in sponsorship, so they use it for different things. But they said, I believe, $100,000 for marketing.
No, it was way more than that. Actually, let me tell you what it was. So they said $700,000 was to be shared by the clubs, and another $1 million was for promotion and marketing.
And $300,000 for building of
pitches and training facilities.
Yes.
And a lot of us asked that, why are you not giving $1 million rather to the clubs to split, and why are you giving them $700,000? What type of promotion are you doing that requires $1 million? And honestly, till date, to me, we haven't seen any promotion.
I would say there's no promotion.
We haven't seen any promotion.
And a bit about the scheduling. Good evening to Eloy Amande, because he raised hell about this deal where the league clubs will get far less than the marketing money. Good evening to Eloy Amande, chairman of Karela. Now, the scheduling. Couldn't we have made this game exclusively a President's Cup exhibition game and had the second leg of the Hearts Kotoko game moved to a weekend where you have the FA Cup? Mind you,
they are both out.
Mind you, Hearts Kotoko is not in the FA Cup. Kotoko is not in the FA Cup. Hearts Kotoko is not playing in the African competitions. Same with Asante Kotoko. So they have a lot of time on their hands. Don't come and give me this excuse of fixture congestion, league congestion. It doesn't work. It doesn't wash with these two clubs involved, because the FA Cup is at the quarterfinal stage. Let's say you let the quarterfinal games play out. Then you move the second leg between Hearts and Kotoko to the semi-final weekend, where you have the semi-final games of the FA Cup being played. We've seen it happen elsewhere.
Or even play the FA Cup games on Saturday.
On Saturday. They have the Hearts Kotoko game on Sunday. We've seen it happen elsewhere. So even this past week, Liverpool and Wolverhampton Wanderers, it was played on the same night that you had FA Cup games being played. Man United West Ham, it was played on the same night you had FA Cup games being played. Man United West Ham was what?
That was an FA Cup game.
League game. Liverpool and Wolverhampton. Arsenal and Everton. It was an outstanding league game. Arsenal and Everton played. Liverpool and Wolverhampton played. Those were outstanding league games. They were played on the same night as FA Cup games. Man United played that same night. It was in the FA Cup, so it can be done. Why couldn't you guys just do so and rather you put yourself in a situation where we could have another legal situation play out even before the start of next season? Because, like I said, if I'm Aduana Stars, I am Aduana Stars, and I am hell bent on winning the double, winning the FA Cup and the league title this season, and some way somehow Hearts of Oak ends up winning the league title, I can raise all hell based on this game and this game alone. So for me, they are just setting themselves up for a lot of controversy and a lot of bad will towards the Ghana Premier League. And I'm not surprised that even with free gates, the stadium wasn't full.
I hope that Bet Power start asking some questions and they want to get their money's worth, because we have seen zero promotion and marketing of this league, if we are being honest. But let's move on to some other stuff.